Okay, so we had chapter 25 of infection in the Giddens book. So pathogens are microorganisms that cause human disease, such as bacteria, viruses, parasites, fungi. There's two definitions of infection. You have acute and chronic. So acute is something like the flu, resolves within a few days or a few weeks. Chronic infection lasts longer than 12 weeks, can possibly be non-curable, such as HIV or HIV. Then we have localized infection that's limited to a specific body area, which is like an ingrown toenail, for example. Disseminated infection spreads from the initial site to other areas of the body. Systemic infection, something like sepsis, which affects the body as a whole. And epidemic is more cases of an infectious disease that is normal for the area. So that'd be like a flu outbreak at Giddens. And then a pandemic is a worldwide epidemic, like worldwide tuberculosis.
Virulence is the potency of a disease. So if something is highly virulent, then it only needs a few pathogens to invade the body and cause disease. Whereas if something was weakly virulent, it would need a lot more organisms to cause disease. Opportunistic infections, they only cause disease when the host's immune system is compromised. So an example of this would be maybe somebody on steroids who has a depressed immune system, or maybe somebody's on antibiotics and now they get C. diff because all their normal flora is gone. B lymphocytes, so this is part of our immune system. So remember, B antibodies, so B lymphocytes are responsible for creating antibodies to the pathogen and to create memory cells for future exposures. T lymphocytes, they directly kill the organism, and they are also responsible for stimulating the macrophages, which clean up everything. Okay, and then there's also the 6 elements of infection, which we learned this in Debbie's class. So all 6 of these things need to be present in order for an infection to take place. So the pathogen itself, a susceptible host, a reservoir, which is like door handle, stagnant water, or like healthcare equipment, a portal of exit, so urine, feces, saliva, blood, skin. There has to be a mode of transmission, so maybe that's like a cough, airborne, contact, droplet, those type of things. And then the portal of entry, which is like broken skin, sex, by the mouth or respiratory tract. It can also be through the GI tract.
Okay, so then endotoxins, those are what are released when the cell is dead, so that is going to cause the side effects of an infection. So, like your fever, your vomiting, your diarrhea, stuff like that. And then exotoxins are released when the cell is alive, and those don't really cause as bad of symptoms. Spectrum, think of like antibiotics, so that's the number of organisms affected by the antibiotic. So you have broad or narrow spectrums, that's just what all they can target. And then activity, so you have bactericidal, so those kill the bacteria. And then bacteriostatic interferes with the replication of the pathogen. So then looking at like lab values to determine what type of infection you have, when you have increased neutrophils and bands, you're looking at a bacterial infection. And when you have basophils and eosinophils, think of a parasitic infection. And so, like we said, CBCs and white blood cell counts are the most crucial lab to evaluate an infection.